What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Ugly Podcast with Jordan and Alicia Prince. This is episode 3, and today we're going to be talking about balancing work life with married life. And
Ooh.
this is super cool and super important because we grew up together. So learning how to support each other's ambition and drive and, goals for what we want to do in life.
For sure.
Is, I feel, super vital, like so important in a relationship, because if you don't have someone supporting your goals or your ambition and encouraging you, we got some problems, right?
For sure. It builds a lot of resentment.
Yeah, for sure. So I can't wait to talk about this because we've gotten some inquiries about this. How do we balance it? We discussed in the first few episodes that I'm a realtor in Omaha, Nebraska, and Jordan's in the Air Force active duty, but he's also working on a business himself that he started,
Yes.
a marketing company.
Yeah, I just started a marketing company recently, and obviously, like, during the beginning stages of starting a business, you need to be extremely selfish with your time and like really dedicate yourself fully to building that business. And having a partner that allows you to be selfish. Like, when I work for 8 hours a day and then come home and I dedicate another at least 8 or 6, like, because I wake up in the morning at 4 a.m. So my first 3 hours I'm awake, I'm dedicating to the business. And then I go to work and then I come home and I'm dedicating more time to the business. So you have to have a partner that's extremely understanding of that. And Alicia does that very well. Like, she's always supported everything I've done extremely well.
And let's just talk about for a second the beginning, right? Because at 16 and 18, we didn't know what the fuck we wanted to do.
Hell
right?
no.
We
Absolutely
didn't know what
not.
we wanted to do. But let's just start from the very beginning, because the moment I met Jordan, we talked about that. I remember Jordan asking me, like, how's school? How are you doing in school? And I remember asking him, like, because Jordan was graduated.
Yep.
So it was like, okay, well, what do you want to do with your life? And I remember him saying, he said, I want to go into the Air Force.
Yep.
And instantly, for me, it was like, if that's what you want to do, do it. So I always supported whatever he wanted to do and vice versa. And then it took him a year.
Yeah, it took me a year to get
into
in.
the military. Yeah. And I supported it all the way. If that was what your journey and your purpose was and what you gravitated towards, you need to go for it. I would have, I feel like it's important to discuss this because especially young love.
Puppy love.
You don't
I like that word, puppy love.
It's hard as young adults or teenagers, older teenagers, to really grasp that journey may separate you guys.
I mean, it's hard for grown adults to grasp that, let alone like 2 kids that don't know what they want to do and don't know what direction their life is going. Like, so like, yeah, it's extremely hard to grasp that.
What did you have any fears or concerns with you going into the military and us, following your at that time it was your dream.
Yeah.
At that time
for
it was
sure.
your dream. So did you have any concerns, hardships with that? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Of course. When you take leaps like that, and we weren't married at the time, when you take leaps like that, you don't know what the relationship is going to be on the other side, because I was gone for 2 months. We were just dating. We were dating for what, 2 years before I left?
No, we were only dating a year.
A year before I left. Exactly. And I was gone for 2 months and then another, 5 on top of that. And we were only dating. So I was gone for 7 months while we were dating. And of course you have like questions like, well, what are we? Like, are we going to last through this 7 months? Are we going to last through this initial 2 months? Because we were writing letters back and forth like we were pen pals. So like, and of course you have your questions, but I never doubted it per se. Obviously you just wonder, like,
I feel like you have your scares and your fears almost. Because I remember Jordan leaving, and I remember being so sad he was leaving, because obviously, who wouldn't be sad separating from your boyfriend, girlfriend, especially at that age when you're just so obsessed
head over
with
heels.
each other. Yeah. But for me, I've never been the type. I've always been extremely ambitious myself. So
For sure.
I knew I was going somewhere. So it was like, you need to go somewhere too in order for us to do this together. and contribute to a life of, building something together. So for me, it was, of course, the fear of the distance. Like, is he going to find someone else? Is he going to, just maybe we're going to
grow apart?
Yeah, grow apart. There's always those concerns. And I think that those concerns are valid because we're human. So anyone going through that, it's valid to feel that way because you just don't know what the future holds. But I will say, do not ever let that cloud your support for that person.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like that old quote, if you love them, let them, set them free. Like that, and that's what you have to do. You have to let them go chase your dreams, go do what you want to do, because that is just necessary.
Because let's just talk for a second. What if I was that girlfriend at the time that didn't want you to go and you stayed?
Yeah, and I stayed. I don't know if we would, obviously I think me and you were like meant to be, so we would have probably worked.
But realistically, a lot of resentment.
It would have been a ton of resentment, and I don't know if we would have still been together. Like that I think that was necessary for us because I grew a lot in that 7 months.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted
for
to
sure
say. Because you have to grow as an individual in order to truly contribute to a relationship. Like that's just the fact of the matter. You cannot be 100% like so obsessed with your relationship that you don't see yourself anywhere but in that relationship.
Yeah, it's
I think
super
that's
dangerous.
where it can be a really unhealthy position to be in because you have to just mentally be prepared to survive one way or another on your own,
For sure.
Grow as an individual, have your own life, and your own friends and your own career or whatever it is you want to do, your own path, because you are your own person first. And so for me, it was, I'm not going to let this get in between us. I'm going to support his decision and encourage it. And what's meant to be will be. And in that time, I'm very aware that this was like obviously kind of not a rare, if we have some military couples on here listening, please let us know, comment on your journey and how your experience was. But I definitely think it's not a common mindset to have.
No, it's not. Especially for people so young. Like we said, you're 17 and 19. Like that's kind of rare for sure. Because I mean, up until that point, I had never been in a real like serious relationship where we're like dedicated to each other 100%.
Building a life together.
For sure.
Yeah. Dealing with real adult issues versus just like little petty relationship issues.
Kid
like boy girl issues. So this was like we were really setting the precedence of how our relationship was going to be moving forward. And so right off the bat, supporting your partner in whatever they want to do is just the most important thing.
For sure.
I want to talk about our failures, in the sense of something maybe we thought we were going to do and didn't do. It didn't work out. Because we've always supported each other, but let's say, nursing didn't work out for me.
For sure.
I
started a business called Crown, and I had some licensing issues because they wouldn't let me use the residential address for like alcohol and things like that, and that's just sitting by the wayside until I get the capital to do what I want to do with that business. But we invested a lot of money into that business, and that business is just dead right now.
Yep. And the thing is, I want to point this out because I don't want people to think that we just knew what we were going to do our whole lives. Like it went so smooth, like all these like flowery rainbows and sunshine picture, because it's not that at all.
No.
We definitely went through our trials and errors just trying to figure it out because we're young and we're still young and we're growing and just trying to see what we want to do with our lives.
For sure.
But my point is that support never failed.
No, not at all. And a big thing that I always tell people when they're trying to find something to like give themselves to, I just tell them commitment. I tell them to commit to what, don't half-ass it. Like if you want to do something, dive into it. Because through me joining the military, if I would have never joined the military, maybe I would have never knew that I liked business and that I wanted to go into business. Obviously, I've always had like an entrepreneurial side to me, but maybe I never would have found the businesses that I really like, because like I really like marketing. I really like the aspects of growing businesses and things like that. But I probably never would have found that if I was just out on and never dedicated and committed myself to joining the military.
Yeah, exactly. It's growth, you know?
Yeah, it is.
It's doors, opening doors.
For sure.
So you have to just follow that path. But what was it? You wanted to do pararescue.
It was combat control.
Combat control.
Yep.
So amongst us trying many things throughout our, 7-year relationship, there has been many things that didn't see through, and combat control was one of them for Jordan. Nursing was one of them for me. I thought about, personal training for a while, because I love the gym and working out and being healthy. And nutrition.
Had to give him a flex one time.
Yeah. And then Jordan, like we said, Jordan wanted to start a company in Florida that just ended up, it's not panning out right now. So he went down a different route. But these are all many different things that we've tried while being in a relationship. And not only has the support never failed, but, the encouragement and believing in your partner.
For sure.
And this will be something that I know Jordan specifically wanted to talk about, as far as, speaking positivity into your partner. And
yeah, so, and that's another thing that we've always done through all the trials and tribulations and the successes and failures. We've always spoke those good things into, like, baby, you can do whatever you want. I tell her that all the time. You can do whatever you want. Like, and I wholeheartedly believe that. I believe she's capable of anything. If she commits herself to it, I know that she can do it. And she does the same thing to me. Like, she told one of our friends that she, like, talks over me while I'm sleeping and, like, weird stuff like that. But it's not weird. She's just, like, literally, like, she's like talking encouragement into me, even while I'm sleeping, even while I'm not awake. She's like, you can do anything you want. Like, you can.
The evening times are my time that I really unwind and think. So one thing I had started implementing a while ago, like a long time ago, honestly, it's just grown over the years, is while Jordan is asleep, and obviously, to put it the most simple, that's when I'm in my feelings the most.
That's for sure.
I'm just like thinking about life and my dog and my family and my husband and what I can do better the next day. And that's just when I'm in my feelings the most. So one of the things I did as a wife and started doing was, and you can call it, you could call it praying, you could call it meditating, you could call it speaking positivity, you could call it whatever you want, depending on, what you choose to believe in. But I just speak positive words into Jordan while he's asleep, because I truly believe that, he is capable of whatever he wants to do in life. And not only do I want him to know that I think that, I want him to feel that, So for me, it's like, even when you're asleep, that's my time to really just sit there and speak the positive words I want to speak into you and love you, even without you really even knowing it. So
for sure, because I didn't know that until recently.
Yeah.
But that's just a part of that. You have to, when you're a couple and you're truly dedicated to each other and you see yourselves building a life together, you have to have that. You have to have that support for each other wholeheartedly. It has to be 100%. You can't, in the back of your mind, be like, well, I don't know if they can really do that. But that comes into a lot of personal stuff too, because she believes that she can do anything that she puts her mind to. And I believe that I can do anything that I put my mind to. So if I believe that about myself, why wouldn't I believe that about Alicia?
And I think also, I was going to say something. I lost my train of thought when you were talking. But
that's what you got to do, man. You got to talk so nicely to her that she loses her train of thought. She over there don't know what to think.
You think you're smooth.
Like butter.
Oh, no, I wanted to talk about, so obviously we could talk about how we should be and how we are, but where are those moments where we kind of had to shift ourselves? Like, you kind of started to maybe feel a little neglected, because it's a reality. We can't sit here and act like our partners don't feel or won't feel neglected when we're so focused on our business, and that's where the balance comes in, right?
Yeah, I'd say that I'm a little worse at giving you the attention you need when you need it, because I'm a super like recluse kind of, like I'm I don't know, I feel like you need more attention from me than I need from you, in a sense. And I'm not saying that
it goes down to love languages.
Love languages, exactly. Like, she can come by me and touch me on my shoulder. I'm like, oh, that's all I need for my baby. But she needs that. Like, she wants me to talk to her and have conversations and stuff like that. And I've definitely gotten better with that. But I used to be like super like center line. Like, I'm focused on my stuff. Don't talk to me.
It was so bizarre though, you guys. Like, it was like he could fully be in a relationship with me, and he's committed. He'll take care of me. Like, we go grocery shopping, whatever. But he could easily just not talk to me. Like, he could easily just not talk to me and be in a relationship with me, and he's good to go. And I'm just like,
and that's just how I am, because like when I'm focused in on something, like, I almost get obsessive over it.
Yeah, he definitely does.
I almost get obsessive to where the point, like, I like need to or want to talk to anybody right
and
now.
It's a fine line, because you don't want to take away any time from what your craft is or what your obsession is or what you're focused on, because you want to fully commit to that. But you have to balance it out.
There has to be a balance.
Say, when he was deployed, for me, starting real estate, it was hard on him.
Yeah. It was
really hard on him because he was deployed, and I was starting off my career. And if I wasn't FaceTiming, because remember we talked about previously, we had our schedule. We had our schedule of when we would FaceTime. But because of my career and getting started off, I was so fully immersed into my field getting started that sometimes I wasn't there for those FaceTime calls.
That's true.
And it took... a few times he got frustrated with me, and it was almost like, I had to be there for that FaceTime call. But don't be afraid to kind of shift your relationship a little bit with that point in your life. Because last deployment, we had our schedule and we had our time and we never missed a beat, because my job at that time was basically a 9-to-5. It was very consistent.
Yep, structured.
And very structured, just like the military. So we never missed a beat. But now this deployment, my career is totally unpredictable. I cannot control when, and don't get me wrong, I can balance it. But when you're just starting off,
like I said, you got to dedicate 100%.
You got to dedicate 110%. So if I'm showing houses at 8:00 at night and he's calling me to talk, I had to help, or we had to help each other just shift that mindset of, okay, it's not going to be on the dot every time. Some nights she's going to be showing houses. Some nights she's going to be writing contracts, and she can't talk to me.
Yeah, like, and that was kind of...
It was hard on
you. Yeah,
him.
it was hard, and it was weird because, like, the time zones were different. So, like, I would talk to you when I wake up, but I'm not calling you again until, like, 8:00 at night, my time. So we haven't talked from 5 to 8, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then sometimes I would go to sleep and we wouldn't talk until the next morning. So it was like full 24-hour plus periods where we weren't talking sometimes. And I was like, dang, man, I kind of miss my girl.
It wasn't like a huge issue in our marriage, because we had already learned how to kind of adapt with the time in our lives that we were at. But it was something we had to address. Yeah. And it was something. So don't be afraid to address and adjust in the time of your life with your spouse, because it's not always going to be the same and consistent, and times change and your lives change. So don't be afraid to do that, because like I said, he definitely struggled with that when I first started my career, and all we had to do was talk it out, hey,
have a conversation.
This isn't how it's going to be anymore. And then now we're going into the being able to really absorb and understand the information that you're talking about.
For sure.
Because, if you have a partner that just isn't receptive of what needs to be changing and be done in order.
And speaking about changing, we're about to go through another change, because I'm on my way transitioning out of the military now. Yeah. So that's going to be another thing that we're going to have to build another little routine on how we're going to operate when I'm outside of the military. Yeah. So that'll be another little journey and challenge that we go through there.
Yeah, you just can't be afraid to just kind of regroup and figure out what works now, right? So don't be afraid to do that, and those are just our little secrets and tidbits to how we've balanced work and marriage life. And, unfortunately, if you have children, we haven't crossed that line yet. So unfortunately, that's something that we can't really discuss because we don't know what it's like to be parents.
We can't speak from experience.
Yeah. So if we have parents on this podcast, please feel free to comment in the comment section and let us know how you and your spouse have now worked and balanced work, marriage, and kids now, because that's advice that we'll definitely be taking in.
That sounds extremely difficult. That's like when we watch my nephew, I'm just like, I'm pulling my hair. I'm like, dude, like, you need all this attention. Like, I can't breathe. He's like trying to get him alive, and I'm like, yo, please, I just need to read a little bit. I just need to do this a little bit. But it's tough.
It's definitely a learning lesson because we're realizing even with our nephew, like, he needs our attention the whole time he's with us, and so that's what he gets. But I just don't want parents to be listening and think like, y'all wait till you have kids. Don't get us wrong.
Help us out.
Give us some advice.
Don't leave us hanging.
And hopefully you guys can talk amongst the comments if you are parents or not parents, and have that type of subject, because obviously we don't want to discuss a subject that we know nothing about. For sure. Sense. Like we said, we can talk about our nephew, and that's been a learning process for us. But at the end of the day, we don't have kids, so that will be a new jump we'll have to make and
one day
and adjust. When we do have kids, to figure out, okay, now how is our balance going to work now?
How's our schedule going to be?
Yeah. So I would say, support. Don't be afraid to communicate, address, and adjust. And then, speak in positivity, believe in your partner, even when whatever their dream or aspiration may have been didn't work out.
For sure.
Because that's when they need it the most, right?
Failure is a part of the journey. And always.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable, too. You never know when it's going to come.
You don't. You really don't. And so it's just like you want to make sure that your partner, when they're at their lowest, feels your support.
For sure.
For sure. Because I will say, like, going into the transition of real estate and I didn't have any income coming in for a year. Jordan was everything he needed to be at that time. I'm a very, very self-sufficient, independent, money-making woman. Like
INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means?
I'm just very independent, and I'm very self-sufficient. So although I'm married and I've been married so young, it was extremely hard for me to truly depend on Jordan. Yeah. I was truly depending on him. In that moment, I almost felt like I was giving up my independence in a sense by putting all my trust into him, that he would, financially support me. And I had never done that before in my life. And so that was, not only did that really build my trust with my husband, and respect, and the love was stronger on the other side. It was just hard for me. So, but don't be afraid to communicate that, because Jordan was well aware that it was hard for me. Yeah,
for sure. I've always known that you're a super independent person, super independent woman. Like, you don't need me. But that's also another reason why our relationship works, because we know we have to almost present our best selves, because at the end of the day, you don't need me and I don't need you. We will be who we're going to be without each other, but together we're unstoppable. And I truly believe that, and I think that's the reason why our relationship is so strong, because of the independence of each other.
I 100% agree. You have to have that confidence in your individual self and in your partner. And I think that's where, like he said, we truly thrive, because it is like, okay, you don't need me and I don't need you, but we are going to do this shit together,
Big facts.
Big facts. And so we've talked a little bit about the work journey. How do we balance it then with marriage? I would say we find what works for us. So
yeah, we have a schedule of no work on Sundays. So we at least dedicate Sundays to each other. But then sometimes work comes up on Sundays, and we got to work on Sundays.
My clients need me on Sundays.
Yeah.
And I actually, just to go back to that, I remember first starting in real estate, Jordan was like, all right, no work on Sundays. Like, and I said right off the bat, I cannot promise that, because that is when I'm needed the most on weekends with my clients. And he had to understand that. And now let's talk about it. It could have went a different way. it could have been a huge fight in our relationship.
And I could have hampered your career because of that.
Yeah.
I could have been, well, hey, no work on Sundays. You know the rules. Like, and I could have hampered her career because maybe some of those clients would have went and worked with other agents because they're like, hey, I need to see houses on Sundays. These are my only 2 days off.
And it would have caused more friction and more fighting because he wasn't being understanding of what my career is and what my career needed from me. So you have to be able to understand that, like, specifically look at your partner and what they're trying to do in life, and all right, what do they need to be their most successful or best self, or happiest in their career, and how can we maneuver around that. But I would say for our married life, what we do is specifically for us, like, we like to go to the gym together. Like, a lot of people,
that's every day.
And a lot of people may not think that that's spending time together, but that comes down to love languages. And your love language may be different than our love language. For sure. And that's okay. You just have to maneuver around that. But speaking of how we balance it, the gym time is our time, and we're goofy. Like, we talk. Sometimes we have our headphones in the whole time, and we just help each other with workouts. But that is one of our times. And then another time I would say is dinner.
Dinner, for sure.
I cook dinner and we eat dinner together, and that's how we really get to sit and talk about our day.
And in the car before the gym.
Yeah.
I'm super talkative in the morning. Yeah. And in the car in general because I'm working so much. And I drive for us. I'm the driver. I'm designated driver. I should get paid for it. So I'm driving. So I'm not on my phone. I'm not paying attention to anything else. So I'm like, my mind's wandering. I don't listen to music all the time while I'm driving. So I'm like,
that's our time to talk.
Yeah, let's have some conversations.
And that's how we catch up. When Jordan's at work on base, like, we don't talk. I'll see you at home. We don't go on very many date nights. Of course, we try to, every few months. But at the end of the day, that's just not really what we need. We know we need more of, like, our gym time and our time in the car and dinner time. Those are our things of how we balance it. And I think it just comes down to figuring out how you guys most absorb love from each other.
And how will you guys give that time to each other? Because you can't be you can't be fully immersed in something and completely neglect your spouse. But I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. You guys will have to find out that schedule and what works for each other.
And don't be afraid to trial and error it. I always say that. We tried a few different things. We tried the date night once a month. It just didn't work for us. Like,
we tried it once a week.
Once a week, yeah, that's what it was. And we just got too busy. Like,
yeah, it just doesn't work.
But instead of getting mad at each other that we got too busy or we got too tired or, making it feel like an obligation almost.
It felt off. It felt weird.
Yeah. Instead of just trying to force that, this is an example, of course. Like, if it works for you, it works for you. But for us, instead of trying to force that one date night a week, we were just like, all right, we're too busy. Our schedules are just too jam-packed. And obviously we eat dinner, but it was just the kind of sense of going out to, I don't know, like, it just didn't work for us.
Yeah, it didn't. And we would be so busy sometimes where we would just completely forget. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And it'd be like the next week and we're like, dang, we didn't even.
And now it's different because on 75 Hard, we're not eating out, period. So that's why dinners are our thing. So you can kind of think of it as a date night. But, like, it's not special by any means. We're just having dinner together. And so we know that that's just our thing. And then, that's how we've just learned how to balance it. Through the past, it's just been, in Florida, it was kind of the same thing, just like the gym time. We would go out to dinner more.
We went out to breakfast every Sunday, too.
That's what it was.
First watch.
Breakfast every Sunday. Sundays were our days. And I think that's why Jordan was kind of, like, stuck on the Sunday thing. Sure. But, yeah, the work-life balance has been all about just trial and error, addressing and adjusting, support, and believing in your partner, no matter what failures come along the way. And I don't even consider them failures. I just more so consider them lessons.
Yeah.
But
I believe that's it.
Yeah.
If you guys like this episode, like, comment, and subscribe, and share it. Help us grow our audience.
Our video recording is stopped. And anyways, so yes, if you guys have any feedback, please give it to us. Anything you want us to talk about, let us know.
Drop some comments. Let us know some topics that you guys want us to talk about, and we'll talk about them. We're not shy.
No.
We're pretty open with the details of our relationship right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's our goal, again, is just to let you guys know we go through it. This is just how we've navigated it, and we hope that this helps you guys, better communicate with your partner, or give you that maybe kind of just release of tension if you've been feeling a certain way. Yeah. And let's discuss it. We can't wait to continue to talk about it with you guys. So
for sure.
Thank you for joining The Ugly, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.